who doesn't like role play, right? You're living a fantasy. You're living this different character. Everybody involved is having more fun and they're into it and everybody's really excited and it helps you escape. And I don't know. I thought this would be a fun little bit, but before it goes any further, let's talk about role play at the D&D table. Hello, everybody. As I begin every one of these videos, happy Friday. Hopefully the week has treated you well. And as that cringy intro kind of suggested, I don't know. Coming up with intros is hard. We're going to be talking about roleplay at the D&D table. So last week's video, I was talking about how I make my characters and how I build them and all the steps that I take. This video is going to be kind of just breaking down how I roleplay. Like all of the D&D videos, I preface that if you prefer to play D&D and you just want to go and hit stuff and like your table is all about just the gameplay and whatnot, do you? I really feel like a D&D table experience is so much more fun. Not necessarily fun, that's not the right way to put it. Just the overall experience seems more rich if you get to get into the RP and all the meat and the potatoes and just But before we get any further, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment down below this video, and if you like the channel, hit the sub button. If you're interested in catching me live on Twitch, you can catch me Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays at 5 p.m. PST, where I play a variety of different types of games. And also, we're going to start recording these vlogs live on stream on Wednesdays, so you get a little behind the scenes peek. All right. Now that the boring stuff is over, let's get into the actual video. And we're going to start with, why do I even RP in the first place? I acknowledge the roleplay aspect of D&D is not for everybody. Some people just want to hit things, they just want to play the game, and that's fine. RP is so heavily built into this experience in my heart and my brain that I can't imagine not doing it. If everyone at the table is RPing and as my character, I'm talking to someone and it's progressing the story and you're having more than just a group of people sitting at a table, you have these characters actually talking together. It helps pull me out of my brain, pulls me out of the real world. I think that's a huge part of why I love D&D is it's escapism. That's what it all boils down to. Just like your favorite movies, your favorite books. It's escapism, and you get to be more than who you are. You get to be an orc where you don't have to worry about your bills and you don't have to worry about all the real life stuff. It all just feels like this group storytelling that we hear throughout history so much that like humans love. They love to sit and talk about stories. This just feels like one of the closest ways to relive that. It's just one of the best experiences because it's creatively fulfilling. It gives you just, I keep like because I can't put it into words. It also, in a weird way, and it feels backwards to even say this kind of, doing RP makes me feel less stupid. I think D&D and tabletop RPGs, all of that, they're very vulnerable. You have to open up and put away a lot of walls, which if you think about that, RPing and playing a character and maybe doing voices, you would think it would make it harder. But for me, it helps me get past all of those anxiety blocks that I have because it's the old adage of go big. If people at the table laugh with you or they're just watching you and they're in it with you, it just all helps the escapism. Some people love the spa and that's their relaxing, or there's so many different ways that people enjoy relaxing. Like, this is my relaxing. Getting to create and just make up stories. And that touches on actually the whole of the experience of you're a group of people making a visual story together. It's all theater of the mind. Like, you can have maps and you can have images and whatnot, but it's still a group of people sitting around a table just making a visual story. So if you're RPing and you're in it and someone's adding, oh, this detail here or that detail here, it's what I would imagine that group projects are supposed to be like in college or school, whichever, where you're all working together and you're talking about this topic that you love, and then you can present it and be happy instead of one person doing all the work. Can you imagine who I was? So that's the general of why I like to RP. It also boils down to it's just fun, and you can be cool, and you can describe stuff and live out your in your brain of what you see, because for a lot of the time everyone at the table doesn't have the same imagination. Everyone sees something different, so you can put out of your head, this is what I see, and present it to the table. So it's helping you tell your own story, which kind of leads into what we're going to talk about now, is RP in non-combat situations. I think it all comes to when you're doing non-combat RP, you need to actively be listening. It's normal to zone in and out, but if you want to get into the RP, I think you have to actively be listening. Don't be on your phone. Don't be worrying about the 20 other things that you have to be thinking about, or you're surfing the internet and whatnot like that. Actively listen to what the GM is saying and what the other players at the table are saying. I do acknowledge that sometimes your brain wanders, and that happens. I'm not being mean against people if their brain starts wandering and any of that. I'm just saying that I think a huge aspect of the RP that I love is if I want to be into the RP, I actively have to listen, because a character or someone at the table may say something small, but it would then give you an opportunity to ask that character later on about that moment. If you're actively listening, you just pick up on these little minute details that a character or a person at the table puts out. Because that's kind of the vulnerable aspect of if someone at your table decides, oh, my character goes by themselves, but they're not hidden. That can clue you in as a player. Oh, okay, they want to maybe have an RP moment. And it's really nice because it's a way to start breathing life into these characters. They're not just, oh, I'm here playing this character for blah, blah, blah. It's, oh, no, I am this character, which is great for me because the more that I just acknowledge, oh, I'm this character, I don't have to worry about making character choices. I think that's a pitfall with RP sometimes, that you as a player are actively thinking, okay, this character would make this choice, this character would make this choice, and this. But if I'm already just trying to be the character and not worry about making specific character choices, it's a weird loophole where I already start making those choices just naturally. Because it all boils down to you get to play this character, you get to choose what they do. But it's like a weird loophole for me of no matter what character I'm playing, it just kind of seems to work that if I stop worrying about making the character choices and just make choices, they eventually just start becoming, oh yeah, this character totally would make this choice, and it's just second nature. It's boiling acting down, which you don't have to be an actor to role play. Who cares if you have a bad accent or if you're not good at it right away? You're not going to be good at it right away because it takes time. Your table should never judge you for if you're doing a bad voice or if you're all of that. It gets to be adult pretend. And I think that's a huge aspect of also why I love it, is growing up, we were always told, like, eventually you have to lose that wonder and that storytelling and imagination. And this is a full acceptance of, no, you don't. You get to live it here. You get to live in a world of orcs and wizards and all of that. And it just helps me not worry and just get out of my own head. Another way I flavor my non-combat RP, I actually really enjoy having moments by myself because it lets me have time to flesh out my character, where I'll have them have conversations out loud, and it's just adding these little bits. I think these by themselves moments are one of those interesting ways to explain your character to the table without having to do it for their characters to be there, because you're able to show a character who is internal and they're feeling these emotions or they're thinking these thoughts. I think it also just gives you moments to flesh out your character more, because we all go into the game with this idea of our character, but we never know what the group is going to do to the character, how the group is going to change the character. I had this idea for my character, but this other person in our group said something interesting, and it's changing my character's mind. And it's almost a way to do two things at once, where it's giving your character more depth, but also letting your brain decompress. So that's non-combat RP. The next section would be combat. And I feel like this is going to just be really, really short, because at least for me, flavoring my combat is all about just, it's cool. It's seriously just fun and cool, and you get to live out your anime dreams or your action movie dreams. As a newer player, I was worried about adding flavor to my combat because it almost felt pointless, but the more I've played, the more I just realized that, sure, you say you do this really awesome thing and it doesn't kill the character, but you're still getting to show your character's fighting style. You get to just add that little bit of like spice to everything you're doing. It helps keep the table engaged. I think we can all agree that combat is really where your brain starts wandering, because it turns into math and it turns into dice rolls and it turns into all this stuff. But if you're flavoring your combat, it at least gives the other people at the table something to focus on. It's almost like an open invitation for someone else at the table, for if they saw, oh, Concho did this, I want to jump off them and help with this attack, or I want to add to this attack. Combat is typically 50-50 part of the experience. You have your RP moments and you have your combat. So why not add the RP to your combat and help like elevate it to the same level as your RP? The last aspect of RP that I wanted to talk on was, I think it helps the GM in general. Your GM is not your enemy. They never should be. And I would hope that you're never at a table where your GM feels like they're fighting you and they're making your life a bad difficult. They're going to give you enemies to fight and obstacles to overcome, but you need to remember that they're here to help tell a story just like you are. So if you're RPing, it helps your GM be in the moment too and have fun and not zone out, because even GMs will zone out. There's a lot going on that there's just sometimes your GM's probably thinking about the next combat and all of that. Your GM will also change up their story depending on what they're hearing from the players. Sure, they have their, this is point A, point B, point C, and where they want their kind of story to go, but it just helps the GM zero in on, clearly this table or this person's interested in this. Maybe I can bring this aspect to my story, or maybe I can move this. It all comes to that you and your GM and everyone at the table are trying to tell a story together. It's not the GM versus the players or vice versa. It's all of you elevating an adventure and having fun together. So if you RP, it just breathes life into the world. It's not just a game you play every week. It's something you want to get back to. It's something that you want to continue this story, and you make these emotional connections to these fake characters that you've made, and they become a part of you and you love them, and it's just really, really nice. And at least for me, makes me feel accomplished because I created something. And with that, I know this wasn't a tutorial on how to help you RP, and I don't even know if it necessarily will help anyone in general RP. I guess it's more so to, one, validate that you're going to feel stupid, but it's okay because it's new and it's kind of, in the grand scheme of things, just funny. You're sitting at a table just making funny voices and whatnot, but relive like the childhood wonder of just playing with a block, and it's an airplane, and next thing it's a car. Like, just have fun with it. Just act stupid. Who cares? Who cares? You should be surrounded by people who want to encourage you to act silly and have fun with what you're doing. So just do it. So yeah, just go play your game, act stupid, have fun. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that you're having fun, your table's having fun, and you're getting to make silly voices together. So with that, go enjoy your experience. And until next week, hopefully you have all the high rolls. And that still doesn't work. I don't know why I'm still trying to add a dice related outro to these videos and they just sound weird. That could be just me overthinking everything, but they just sound weird. I don't know when I'm going to learn my lesson, and at this point I probably never will. Here, I know a good way to outro. In the comment section, I want to see your favorite RP moment that's happened in any of your games. I want to hear about them because they give me life. And I love getting to hear about other people's experiences. So go ahead, do that in the comments section. Again, don't forget, if you like this video, to hit that like button, sub to the channel, and catch me live on Twitch. And until next week, I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me get to share all of this like fun experience about a game I really, really enjoy. And I love you. Bye-bye.